Hello, everyone. This is Christina Feynman, part of Andy Felton, Molly Wilson, and Greg Salmon's group. We had the honor and pleasure of looking at visual analysis. So I'm just going to take you through here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the narrative research data. A lot of times images have been used throughout history and sociology and anthropology. Gregory Batson and Margaret Mead documented non-Western cultures with photography. In the early 20th century, photographs were also used to document gross inequities like child labor, as well as urban and rural poverty in the US and the UK. So think about that. The narrative research data, we use transcripts, field notes, letters, and documentation, but we communicate with so much more than just words throughout life. We use gestures, movement, sound, and images. So thinking about looking at things that we not only communicate and speak through our written word and spoken word, but also through images. Why visual? So why should we use visual? What makes that important? It allows us to see and feel. It's invoking that emotion. How the participant sees and feels. Images were initially used as text and read interpretively. However, now there is a shift to exploring the how and why images were produced and read by different audiences. This means that images are made with participants, not of them. So think about that. Made with. It's a collaboration. It's a partnership as text versus how and why. So it's a way to really be a part of that person's story. Photo voice is an example. It's a method that's a visual inquiry used in social sciences, and it's where readers are encouraged to understand the world as defined by the subject. So very neat. If you've never seen anything done by Photo Voice, I highly recommend that you look into it. Beautiful, beautiful images. Gives means of production, so that having that camera to those who might not otherwise have access to such a tool, so they can record and catalyze change. So you can see, not everyone has access to the, fancy cameras or even a simple Polaroid camera. So that gives them a medium, a way to speak. So some social scientists believe that images speak for themselves and capture something hidden from view, not even needing words. You probably heard that saying before, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Typically, when the investigators are doing this, they write about images in order to understand and interpret what messages are being captured in the images. Think about that. Images contain theories based on the image maker's understanding. So researchers ask how and why the image maker composed a particular shot. So they look at trying to understand that. Just like the spoken narratives, it's that research of, I want to know how and I want to know why something happened. So how do you analyze? How do you go about analyzing images? There's three considerations when analyzing. The first, story behind the production of the image. What was happening? Have you ever just taken a glance at a picture and wondered, what made this happen, or what was going on in this picture? In psychology, they have these where you make interpretations of an image. You create a whole story by an image. So that interrogates how and when the image was made, social identities of image, not only of the recipient, but also of the maker, and other relevant aspects of the image making process. So you want to look at everything, the story behind, and then the image itself, asking about the story it may suggest. What story is it telling or not telling? How component parts are arranged, and use of color and technologies relevant to the genre. So whatever genre you're using, for example, if you're using photography, painting, or film. And then how the audience read the image. This is really the part that focuses on the audience and kind of the audience process, what the audience is going through, responses of initial viewers, and then maybe they come back to the image after a while, and then what is their responses? What stories do the viewers assign to the image? And captions. Maybe there's a caption underneath that helps to guide in the viewing, where the spectator is positioned, and just other issues related to the reception. When doing visual analysis, something to keep in mind is really they can thicken the interpretation. It can make it too much. It can be overwhelming. But it can also add richness to it. So it's being very aware of some of the things, the obstacles that may come in the way of doing visual analysis. And thinking about some cultures being very aware of the participants in your visual analysis. Some cultures may not accept or approve of photos or being recorded. That might be a part of their culture or not a part of their culture. Also, when considering publications, many journals only publish in black and white. So thinking about, because of costs, the economic reasons behind that. So it may be difficult to convey accurate interpretations to other audiences when images are in color. So being aware of that, and be ethnically aware. We talked about that in our presentation before on querying the interview. It's always important as a researcher to be ethnically aware. Their strong emotions may be elicited. Confidentiality may be of a concern. And again, thinking about, is this culturally sensitive? Is this something that could be interpreted as biased or insensitive? So really thinking about the possibility of a vast and diverse audience and speaking to them. So thinking about this, we were trying to think about how we wanted to apply this to our own lives, and an activity that we talked about and came up with is what stories do your pictures tell? So I was looking back. I took a little trip down memory lane today, and I was very comfortable with sharing some pictures. So my story is of the burpee. And for those of you that don't know what a burpee is, it's this move, and as you can see, you end up in this jump. So the very, very first time I did that, I was like, hey, I want to do a burpee right by the Grand Canyon. How cool would that be? What story would that tell? So I had my friend take the picture, and then it grew from there. I was in New Zealand, and I'm like, oh, this is such a beautiful place. I'm originally from Nebraska, so that image tells the story of my roots, where I'm from, and taking it around the world. Don't judge my jumping abilities. But so that it started, and this started about 4 or 5 years ago. And then, and I think I cut our heads off there with the screen. Let me go back here. But the Tough Mudder, we got done running a Tough Mudder with a couple of my friends. And at the end of running a 13-mile race, I said, hey, let's do a burpee. So then the burpee picture, if you will, became my signature. Then everyone wanted in on the fun. I just went on a spring break trip to Trinidad and Tobago. And so I taught everyone about the burpee while we were doing service work and service learning in the village of Matlock. So it just kind of took off. And now everyone, when they see that I go somewhere, they're like, "Where's your burpee picture?" So they start to look for it. And again, it kind of tells that story. And it also tells the story of my relationship with people. And I just did a visual image here at the ruins in Barcelona on the beach, and then in Italy in a little village in Italy. So it just kind of became this running commentary. But the thing that's been really, really great and that I appreciate about it is the connection it's brought. So the connection that my visual analysis or my images show, or that I'd like for it to show, is my passion and zest for life, but also those connections, those relationships with people that I care and love deeply. And that's my sister on there, one of the most important people in my life. And us doing a burpee at Red Rocks this last weekend when we got a chance to spend some time together. And doing this project just made me realize how much of a visual individuals we are, that I am personally. So my challenge to you, my idea for this activity that we had as a group, is you get to take a visual trip, whether it's in old photo books, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's a digital scrapbook. So we really would like to encourage you to go to your own photos and really think about the story or message you tell with your photos. What do you want us to know about you by looking at your photos? And so I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, let us know. I feel very honored to share my visual images with you on this journey. Thank you very much.